Do you remember Donald Trump's very first Secretary of Health and Human Services? My guess is you probably don't. But maybe this is going to jog your memory.
The breaking headline from the White House, President Trump demanding the resignation of Tom Price. The Secretary of Health and Human Services is out. He'll be replaced at midnight tonight. It comes after spending hundreds of thousands of dollars of your money on luxury jets.
I'm not happy, okay?
By the time Air Force One landed, Price was out. Those flights cost taxpayers more than $400,000. Price promised to personally reimburse the government, but only for the cost of his own seat, just $52,000.
Was paying back $52,000 in the plane's cost? No, that's unacceptable. Is that enough? No, that would be unacceptable.
Unacceptable. He was passionate there. It was a legitimate scandal, even according to Trump. But now he's back in office with a new cabinet, one that is making the Tom Price scandal seem, well, awfully quaint. In just the past week, we've learned that Kristi Noem is flying around at taxpayers' expense on this luxury jet, you can see right there. And Noem is in the process of trying to purchase the jet using $70 million of taxpayer money. And then there's FBI Director Kash Patel. Last year, Democrats demanded an investigation into allegations Patel had used the FBI's $60 million jet for date night with his girlfriend, a Scottish golfing excursion with friends, and a trip to a luxury hunting retreat that is literally called Boondoggle Ranch. Just love that name. Then over the weekend, we found out Patel used the FBI jet to travel to Milan, where he, of course, partied with the U.S. men's hockey team. And now MS Now is reporting on a new FBI whistleblower who claims that Patel's personal use of the FBI jet actually delayed the Bureau's response to the mass shooting at Brown University. Patel claims he was in Milan on official business, and he has said that he will reimburse taxpayers for any personal travel he takes by paying for the cost of his seat on the flight, which is way less than the total cost of the flights, of course. So if we apply the Tom Price standard, the second administration is taking corruption to, well, staggering new heights. Joining me now is John Lovett. He's a former speechwriter for President Barack Obama, co-founder of Crooked Media, and co-host of Pod Save America. And this Saturday, you can catch the premiere of Crooked on MS Now, a new weekly series that highlights the Crooked Media podcast you know and love. John, I guess welcome to the family, or it's reunited. It's good to be reunited. I don't know. Either way, it's good to see you.
It's great. It's good to see you, too.
Okay, so imagine, I was reading, I've been following these cabinet stories so closely. I know you have been too. It's just absolutely ludicrous. I'm trying to imagine what we could have done with Trump's approach to the use of government resources. Speech prep in Ibiza, everyone. I don't even know what. But the thing I wanted to ask you about is, obviously Kash Patel and Kristi Noem are really, really bad at their jobs. They do a lot of problematic things. But do you think their behavior is a political problem for Republicans running for office? Is it going to transfer to them, in your view?
I think so. I think this is so egregious. Nobody believes that Kash Patel had official FBI business in the Italian Dolomites. None of this is reasonable. Kristi Noem flying around Wall Street Journal reporting to have with her Mile High Fascist Club lover, Corey Lewandowski. That's what their allegation is. I don't want to, they're all very quick with the lawyers over there. On a plane they're claiming was for deportations. Looks like a pretty nice private jet that they got for deportation. Seems like it's more for them to fly around comfortably to do press events and, press hits where they talk about overturning elections. So I do think Republicans are embarrassed about this. Ted Cruz was asked about this and had this ridiculous answer where he says real Americans like seeing the FBI director drinking beer in a locker room in Italy. That's what they want him to be doing. It just doesn't pass the laugh test. I think Republicans are embarrassed. It's actually, when we look back on this era, the fact that even now with Trump in the approval in the 30s, even now he's becoming a lame duck, even now when it's easy because nobody respects Kash Patel, nobody thinks Kash Patel is up for this job. He's a joke. He's a joke in right-wing media. He's a joke everywhere. Even now, they're not able to just tell the truth about the guy, that this is ridiculous and of course should be fired. So I do think this redounds badly for them. I think it's embarrassing, and it contributes to a story that they're a rubber stamp for the most corrupt administration in American history.
No question. He also looks like somebody who always wanted to be in a fraternity and never got into one. I don't know. That's what the visual reminds me of. Let me ask you. I
can relate to that. Some people can relate to that.
Well, there we go. Last night in her response, I'm sure I know you watched Governor Abigail Spanberger's speech last night. You were a speechwriter back in the day before you did all the things you've done as of late. She, I thought, did a really effective job of kind of tying corruption and a little bit of what we're talking about to why it matters to people. I just wanted to play it for people just to remind them and then talk to you about it on the other side.
He's enriching himself, his family, his friends. The scale of the corruption is unprecedented. There's the cover-up of the Epstein files, the crypto scams, cozying up to foreign princes for airplanes and billionaires for ballrooms, putting his name and face on buildings all over our nation's capital. This is not what our founders envisioned, not by a long shot.
I thought that was pretty good. I wanted to play it for you because I think a lot of Democrats are trying to figure out the right way to tie kind of corruption and what we see is just this disgusting abuse of power and, in all the ways to how it matters to real people. But what did you think of that? And how do you think people should be talking about it?
So I think what made it a good speech, a great speech, is it was clean, it was to the point, it was making an argument, and it allows the facts of what Trump is doing to speak for themselves. I think sometimes I feel like Democrats have been a bit scrambled by the fact that Trump is, to say he's the most corrupt president we've ever had is an understatement because we've never had corruption on this scale in really a democracy. It's a kind of a Putin level, Marcos in the Philippines style corruption, just brazen in our faces theft. They had Amazon puts a movie out as part of a bribe for Melania. Every empty theater in the country was part of a crime in our faces. And so sometimes that is exasperating and it leads Democrats to this sort of high dudgeon language. And I'm not saying it's not fair. I'm not saying it's not earned. But sometimes you don't need to sound like you're crossing the Delaware. You can just tell a simple